Well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today I'm working on Bill's Malibu. Pretty cool car. Most of you guys know it. If you don't, check out Old Man's Garage. You'll find out all sorts of cool information on this ride. I'm just doing some chassis work to it today. It's 67 degrees outside, which is ridiculous for February, but we have the doors open because it's gorgeous. It's gonna be a windy night. Well, hopefully the shop won't blow away tonight. Got some springs, some ball joints, longer brake hoses, and an alignment to do on this thing. I'm gonna get this thing racked up. We'll get started and get moving because I need to get this thing back to Bill so he can go play.
Looks like he can stand to have an alignment. Look at the front tires.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of toe out going on.
A little
bit of weird camber wear. Mostly toe. Viking! Cedars. Not cool. Push lock goes down. Gravity strikes again. Cotter key is fighting me. I win. I'm going to leave my top castle nut on, and I'm going to use the spring force to help separate my top ball joint. I've already removed my rivet heads, so I can knock those out here in a minute. Get my other side loose. I'll be right back. Here's my jack stand. My big jack stand. Weight savings going on here. 40. Jeff, can you give me a hand a minute?
Yep.
I'm just going to have you lower the car.
Yep.
I'm hitting my frame. Hang on. Bring it down some more. A little more. More. Again. Again. You're good right there. Thanks, dude. hardware. A ball joint with no bolts. What kind of cheapness is that? Ain't no bolts in the box. No boot. No boot, no hardware. Boots sold separately. Okay. You do work with a trash can, it just goes right where it belongs. Into the trash for you. Ultra low friction ball joints. Extra tall too. Get better camber gain out of that. Almost had a gravity attack there. Oop, still happened. I gotta ask him if he wants to keep the front sway bar on this, since this is a grocery getter. But it goes to get groceries really quickly in a straight line. End of the coil needs to be in between those two dots. Then the coil will be installed correctly. And I'm going to need another set of hands to do all this. Down some more. It's dropped right into place. Look at that. I think that'll do. That puller's worth every penny.
I've noticed. that's just direct tool.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Worth every penny. And that's why we spend money on good tools. I don't like loose pads, they click when you hit the brakes. So on these, you bend these little tabs down. Give them a little tap, tap, tappy. And the brake pad's nice and tight. And the caliper. On these, I always put my squeal tab in the back because it goes into the bracket easier. So full droop, we are playing guitar, so we are going to change our hoses out for something else. He brought me these braided ones. We're going to see if these will work. I think they will. I think they'll work just fine. Yeah, those should work just fine. Let's switch our hoses out. Yeah, so these are the Moroso Trick Front Springs, 47205s. And they are designed for drag racing only and will provide maximum weight transfer when installed properly, that's the key word, in the correct application. For most applications, trick springs will not require modifications. If the front end ride height is too high, it may be altered by cutting the spring up to 1 full coil. This should be done 1/4 of a coil at a time until the desired ride height is achieved. Also keep in mind that all springs will settle after installation, and it is recommended that the springs be installed as they come out of the box before checking ride height. Run them down the road before you start cutting them. Means a lot more work, but I get it. Let's change these hoses out real quick. My ball joints are already locked down and cotter pinned. I've got some boots coming, but they're not going to be here today. I want to go ahead and get this thing put back together and get it over onto the alignment rack so we can start sorting out our bump steer kit, which will be the last part for us to put onto this car as soon as I'm done with the brake hoses. Wow, they gave me an extra banjo bolt. 1 extra banjo bolt and 1 extra crush washer. Fitz GM metric calipers, 63/5300. Let's see if they fit. UMI Performance, 3060. That looks like a nice bump steer kit. Let's stick it on this bad boy. Want a UMI sticker?
I have some. I spent a whole bunch of money stickers. All of the suspension that's underneath my 68 Outback is UMI.
Caleb's collecting all the stickers. I think the side of his toolbox is going to be all stickered up in about a week. So we got a tapered side, and we got our adjuster side. Let's do that real quick. And I will probably move this thing over to the alignment rack, and I'll probably align it in the morning because it's already 5 o'clock. Where did my day go? Time flies when you're having fun. Oop, that battery's dead. Jam that. Jam that. Looks like it'll thread on close to where it was, so I've got good clean threads on there. It should be alright. If I was a smart fella, I would have measured how long those were before I zipped them off of there, but that's okay. I'm going to put some lubrication on there though. My bottle over there. Just fine. It goes on fine. There we go. I just wasn't holding my tongue the right way. It still feels tight. Carry brake is GTO already. What's next? Oh, gravity. Making me bend over more. I gotta start working out. I'm tired, man. I'm exhausted. So these are nylock nuts, and I prefer to install them by hand. When you run them down real fast with an impact, it can actually overheat the nylon and cause it to not be a locking nut. So it kind of defeats the purpose of using it. So I like to be overly cautious and install them by hand. This bump steer ought to make this thing steer a lot less like a canoe. The raised ball joints will help with camber gain and extra droop, which there's plenty of droop in the Viking shocks. We're actually limited by the upper control arms at this point for down travel, but we have at least another inch of down travel now, thanks to the tall, smooth gliding upper ball joints. I'm going to make even stacks of my spacers, and I will install them in just a minute. So we are limited on down travel because of the Heim joint doesn't have enough clearance. That's a problem. Didn't think that through. We'll have to come up with a solution for that. Let's raise it up a little bit and see if it's better. Nope, not better. It still binds, so we'll have to figure out a solution for that. So we need some high clearance spacers. I suppose I could just turn these down thinner, but kind of defeats the purpose of buying a kit. It's all that extra up-down travel we have messing with us. It's alright, we'll figure out a solution. That's what we do. You have to just grind the Heim so that it works correctly. That'll cause a weird deflection on the joint and possibly compromise the air compressor from coming on. Let's find our center. if we can make this thing go straight. So check our caster. Well, our caster's not bad. I actually set the toe pretty good for eyeballing it. Got a lot of camber, so I'm going to take a bunch of camber out of this thing, stand those front tires up, and if I can get any more caster, I'll take it, and then I will set my toe and figure out my bump steer to get my optimal setting for that. We put 1 inch taller upper ball joints in it, which is going to give us a lot more camber at rest. And as it stands up, it's gonna actually camber out. It's gonna go positive with the camber. So we'll still be setting it up probably with some negative camber, but not that much, because that's like 2 degrees of negative camber on that side. So let's sling some shims. Oh, those are not going to be easy to get to with arms this high. Let's figure that out. Probably raise it up. This thing with these new springs, it is on the bump stops. So it's sitting as low as this car can possibly sit at this point without removing the bump stops. And then it would probably be sitting arm to frame, which is a little excessive. But for a straight line drag car, it'll give a whole bunch of nose lift and help transfer weight to the back of the car. So it should work really good for straight line. Going to the grocery store might be a little bumpy. Let me grab some tools. I'll be right back. So these cars use alignment shims. They're just body shims to adjust caster and camber. And I have really high negative. I have a lot of negative camber, so 0 camber, the tire would be straight up and down. Negative camber would be towards the center of the top, goes in towards the center of the car, which when you go into a turn, that tire stands up and plants the tire into the pavement. And then positive camber would be actually the top of the tire away from the center line of the car. And we really don't use positive camber anymore. We did back in the 50s, but that was a different time. So I'm removing all my shims for my camber adjustment. I'm going to add some for the caster on the driver's side. I'm going to leave the caster on this side, on the passenger side alone. Let's see where we end up. There was quite a few shims on the passenger side, not as many on the driver's side. And I had a full degree more camber on the passenger side than the driver's side. So I'm down to no shims on the driver's side for camber. And I'm going to try and make the driver's side and passenger side both match. That's the tricky part. It just takes time. You wrench them out, you take a caster sweep, you look at your readings, you make some adjustments, and then you do it again. It just takes time. Well, I have my center link centered in the car and my steering wheel's off, so we're going to have to adjust the steering wheel on the top at some point, but that's not what I'm worried about at the moment. So I'm going to set my toe. My caster and camber are pretty good. I slung some shims around. I have -1.5 degree camber on both sides. I'm under a 1/2 degree cross caster, which is acceptable, but on race cars I like to get them dead even. It's more of a OCD thing probably than anything else, but I seem to have pretty good results when I do it that way. So we'll keep doing it that way because it works. Next I need to play with the bump steer kit a little bit, and I raised it up and it towed in like 1 degree, a little bit more than 1 degree. So we'll see if we can get that down to a little bit less. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see what we can do. What have we do on lift? A little more than 1.5 degrees toe in. That's actually really good. My camber actually went positive because the arms go out through the sweep. They go full positive and then they go negative again. She's got some lift to her, boys. So it's 1 degree positive. I'm hitting the rack. My tires are still on the ground. That's awesome. It's about as close to on the stops as you can get with it not being actually on the stops. So, our range is amazing. Over 7 inches of rise, and I'm not even off the ground yet. That's awesome. Let's play with our bump steer a little bit. Let's make it worse or make it better. Let's see what we do. That's going to tow us in. Let's see what it does through the range. Other way. Ooh, too far. And then in lift, what do we do? Oh, we made it worse, so let's take a shim out. Let's go the other way. Oh, that sucks. Now I gotta start over. What'd you do, Richard? It's a little embarrassing. These things are pretty durable, though. It happens. Alright, so we'll recomp our heads here in a minute, which I needed to do anyway. Let's do a recomp. Sweep our caster. I'm going to reduce my caster on my passenger side, which should even up my caster and camber on both sides. Our toe's looking pretty good. Let's square that up. Still need to drop my caster. What do we do on rise? Not much different. We're still towing in. Let's change it a little bit more and see what we see. Alright, let's see what we do on lift. I've gone all the way through the range. And we are towing in just over 1/2 degree. That's the maximum adjustment I have. It's the most perfect that I can get it. with this setup. I'm actually pretty happy with that. So I've got just a touch of toe in, basically almost zero for toe, because as it lifts, it toes in and gives more stability. My cambers are pretty even. I got to drop my caster on the passenger side a little bit, so I'm going to do that real quick. I want to take like a ½ degree out of it. And that shouldn't adjust my camber very much. Not enough for me to worry about it, but I'd rather have the caster equal and be off 1/10 on the camber if I can. So that'll be the next step, and we're getting pretty close. We'll get this thing off the rack and then let Bill go play. Well, this job's coming to an end. You can see my steering wheel's not centered. On a normal car, you would center the steering wheel and you would adjust the tie rod ends to make it work, but this one is clearly not installed correctly because my center link is squared up to the car so that it's dead center, which means my steering wheel should be dead center. So I'm gonna pop the horn button off and pull the mount off and reclock it if I can. Or maybe I'm gonna just, ooh, gross. Maybe I'm just gonna break it. I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, didn't break it. It just pops off. I'm gonna pull this guy off and then we will see what we have to work with. 13/16. I was wrong on both guesses. And hopefully this is not a master splined column. I don't think it is. It is not, so we are going to move that guy over. The column has been disconnected from the steering box because there is a fat wide spline, so that creates a problem. That means I'm going to have to disconnect it down below. Not a big deal, but it's going to make me dirty. We are very close, much closer than we were. Let's pop that lower shaft off and see if we can rotate it 1 or 2 splines. And I think we'll be right where we want to be. So you can see where my steering shaft attaches to my steering gear. I'm going to remove it, rotate it, and rekey it. And that should make my steering wheel pretty much... It should be pretty close, within like 3 degrees one way or the other. But that's, you know, sometimes these things get taken apart. This looks like it had a steering gear replaced in it at some point, so maybe it just got put back on a tooth or 2 off. It's got a new rag link in it too, it appears. So, good. That's all good things. Well, I struck out there. The rag link to the gearbox is master splined, so I can't rotate it any there, so I don't know, I'll have to think about that. There's a couple ways I can overcome it. One is by changing the length of my tie rod ends, but I'm trying to keep my tie rod ends equal lengths because then all my geometry works in the front suspension. So I'll ask Bill what he wants me to do for the steering wheel center, and we'll figure that out from there. It might just be me grinding the hole on the lock plate so that the horn button pass-through can rotate a little bit more, because that's probably going to be the easiest way to do it, and still keep our front suspension, everything equals. We like equals in geometry for suspension. Makes things work better. Well, it took moving some shims around and removing some shims, but I like it. We're at -1.5 degrees camber, equal both sides. We're within 1/10 of a degree caster side to side at just over 6 degrees of caster, which is great for straight line stability. My toe is just a skosh towed in, and then on rise it's like a half degree toe in, so I'm real happy with it. I think it ought to handle really smooth, drive nice and straight from point A to point B. And that's what we want these things to do. With that, I'm going to tear this thing down and pull it outside for a picture by the garage door, I guess. And that'll be probably it for today. We got a lot going on here at the shop. A lot of different projects are coming in. We got a Elko coming in for a wheel with brakes. We've got a Mercury coming in for an inline 6 to V8 5-speed swap. That one should be a lot of fun. I am going to be getting my Buick back in here. I have some things I want to do to it to make it a little more cruisable, drivable, usable. And the old, what is that thing? The 2001 Mustang with the Kenny Bell blower. That thing's probably going to be coming in and getting a UMI K-member lower arms and maybe some BC coilovers all the way around on it. Should make that a really fun and nimble car to drive around and enjoy. But hey, today we are wrapping up Bill's Malibu. This thing's awesome. If you guys haven't seen a lot of it, check it out. Old Man's Garage. Great channel, good people, lots of fun. We are very honored that they allow us to work on their toys. These are some really nice cars, and they're fun to work on, I'm not gonna lie. At any rate, you guys have a great day. Stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below, all that jibbity jobby stuff, and have a good day. We'll see you. It still feels weird talking to a camera. I'm not gonna lie.